Spoilers for episode 7 of The Last of Us. We pick up in the moments following last week's episode. Ellie presumably drags Joel into a derelict home outside Salt Lake City. She searches for anything that will help her save Joel. Ellie reassures Joel that she is staying with him, and Joel begins to cry, as if saying thank you for not leaving me. As Ellie searches the house for medical supplies, we enter a flashback of Ellie in a Fedra military school. She faces off against a bully who steals her Walkman, and we get a little bit of information about Ellie's friend who has fled the school. This friend was responsible for fighting Ellie's battles, and now that she's gone, it's up to Ellie to throw punches. From there, Ellie has a conversation with Captain Kwong, who plays guidance counselor with her. He tells Ellie to clean her act up as he sees potential for her to become an officer like himself. This conversation will come into play later. From the moment she sneaks into Ellie's room, I enjoyed Storm Reed as Riley. I love the back and forth between the two, and you can feel some of the bitterness from Ellie as she's upset that Riley left. After some convincing, Riley sneaks Ellie out of the school and leads her toward an abandoned mall. This is where some of their conversations become disagreements, as Ellie parrots what she's been taught by Fedra, while Riley just tells Ellie that she doesn't understand everything. This whole sequence in the mall is incredibly uplifting. We get to see the reunion between two friends blossom into something more, as this excursion feels sort of like a date. The moment on the carousel is so wholesome, and if you pay close attention to the music, it's a lullaby version of The Cure's Just Like Heaven, continuing the show's use of hit music from the 80s. Here, we learn the reason Riley left was that she was to be assigned to sewage detail. From Ellie's conversation with Kwong, we learn that after all the problems she's caused, she's still likely to get a breezier job, letting the viewer know that racism is still alive in the apocalypse. This eventually leads to a pure moment of joy in an arcade as the two play Mortal Kombat 2. Up until now, they haven't made much noise, but in this moment, nothing else matters. Unfortunately, their noise wakes up an infected person inside the mall. The girls' adventure isn't interrupted yet, but we as the viewer have this anxiety about an inevitable encounter with an infected. They visit the food court, which we discover is Riley's makeshift home. Here, Ellie finds pipe bombs stashed. They argue about the politics of the Fireflies and Fedra, and I love this back and forth between them. Ellie sees the Fireflies as terrorists because Fedra has declared them as such, and that's what every person in a Fedra QZ would be told to believe. Once again, Riley reminds Ellie that she only knows what she's been allowed to know by Fedra. Before Ellie can storm off, Riley confesses that this whole night has been a goodbye because she's leaving Boston tomorrow. Ellie leaves feeling hurt when she suddenly hears screaming. She runs toward the source to find a sulking Riley in a Halloween store. The final surprise. They reconcile and Riley brings the mood back by playing some music and tossing Ellie a Halloween mask. This scene, ripped right from the game, highlights the chemistry created by the two actors, and I just want to root for them forever. Unfortunately, this is a flashback and we know all good things must come to an end. Chekhov's cordyceps crashes into the store, attacking the two, in a moment that is made scarier by the great camera work and sound design. After taking the infected down, we get a horrifying moment of realization between Ellie and Riley. Ellie has a bite on the arm and Riley on the hand. I love how this moment illustrates how different the two react. Ellie with rage, while Riley has accepted her fate and wants to spend her final hours with the one she loves as they both die. This mirrors Frank and Bill's fate in episode 3. Beautifully heartbreaking, and that's all we get. We cut back to the present day as Ellie searches for supplies. She comes across a thread and needle and knows what she has to do. Ellie begins stitching up Joel because she can't lose someone. Not again. What did you think of Left Behind? Let me know in the comments, and as always, I've been Barista Brand, and you've been awesome.